Hey everyone, and welcome to Comic Breakdown. If you're new to the page, be sure to give us a like and a sub so you don't miss any of the content we have coming out. And today we're going to be diving into Empyre, Avenger Fantastic Four crossover, issue number 3. If you guys haven't yet, check out my Empyre playlist. I have a whole bunch of stuff, all the tie-ins. I'm bringing this all together so you guys have one playlist to go to and find everything you need. Now, I do have all the other playlists broken off, so you guys can check out those individually if you'd like. And without further ado, let's dive into this issue. So we're picking up on Earth with Reed Richards. And the Katati are really laying waste to Earth here. But luckily, a lot of the Kree and the Skrull troops that Captain Marvel had risked her life to save are now on Earth. And they're taking the fight to the invaders. And we're really having Emperor Hulking having issues essentially controlling his troops, because he doesn't really have that much of an ability to control them. You know, he wants to lay down some rules of engagement for everybody, but it's really not working out in his favor. Now, Reed Richards and Tony Stark are going over everything, and Tony's trying to go over how to isolate and destroy the Katati's plant-controlled powers. And we get a little glimpse of really how smart Reed Richards is. Like, he knows Tony Stark's password without Tony Stark even telling him. And he knows this because of just how smart he is. He understands the probability of him using numerical substitutions and so on and so forth. And he goes on to say that even Johnny uses something similar to this. And Tony's almost insulted. Okay, cool. Like, I'm slightly smarter than Johnny Storm. Like, hoorah. But Tony, Reed Richards knows that he's a smart man. And he's just beating himself up over all of this because he really wants to find a solution to everything that's going on. And right now, our big three Avengers, they escaped the moon and they've been busy. They've been each taking on things with using their respective strengths. So you have Captain America, he's out there leading anybody who's willing to help out in this fight. Thor's out on a mystical quest, seeking out powers pretty much only a god can access. And Tony's just buried himself into studying and into trying to crack this code. Now, our Fantastic Four team is really spread out. Like, we have them all over the place, helping wherever they can. And Thing is in Wakanda, and they're preparing for the siege, because they had been essentially setting up a staging area in Genosha, and now they're coming to attack. And they start breaching the force field walls. And this is where we get some clobbering time in. Now, we pick up half a mile away from the Wakandan border, and we have our Celestial Messiah and the Swordsman. And they're going over the battle strategy here on why they're not sending in their best troops to take on the Wakandans. And Swordsman lets them know that they need to test the Wakandans' weak points. They need to know the perimeters, they need to know how it all works. That way, when they do send in the heavy guns, the Wakandans don't necessarily have a chance. And Black Panther already knows what's up. Like, Black Panther knows exactly why they are here. You would think the Katati, being a plant-based life form, doesn't necessarily have use for any kind of metal like vibranium. But they do have a use for the earth that the metal is created in, which is vibranium-enriched soil. Now, this soil used to make one of their little death blossom things could be extremely detrimental to the entire galaxy, because we saw what the moon dirt was able to create with that death blossom. It was able to take on a whole armada. So imagine something that's grown in highly enriched soil, vibranium soil at that, and we're talking about something that's potentially extremely dangerous. And so they kind of bring in a big gun here to help out with everything, and is no other than Mantis, the Celestial Messiah's mother. And she's here to save her son. She really wants to save Koya. Now, she's really worried that the Swordsman is the one whispering in his ear, poisoning him, turning him against his human heritage. And so they want to try almost a diplomatic approach, seeing if they can talk to him and bring him down away from doing this invasion. Now, picking up on the Alliance command ship with Captain Marvel and Emperor Hulking, they're talking about ways to end this war, or at least get rid of the blue area on the moon. And so the idea is that they force the space sword into Captain Marvel again and enhance the powers of it. It could cause enough for it to explode and kill everything in sight. But the downside is we don't necessarily know if this is going to kill Captain Marvel. Now, while they're having this discussion, Black Panther gets a hold of Emperor Hulking and asks him if he can borrow the Star Sword as well. And that Black Panther thinks that with his blessing, he could be able to wield it, and that he needs to wield it in this time of need. And Emperor Hulking asks him, like, I'll give you the sword, but is it going to kill anybody? Do you need to kill an Avenger, or does an Avenger need to die for you to need the sword? And just like, no, he's like, all right, well then, have fun with it. And of course, this infuriates Captain Glory and all of his people and his advisors, because this is not something they wanted him to do. And so they remind him of the Pyre. Now, the Pyre was in the Krall system, and it was the first test of the Death Blossom, and it essentially wiped away an entire civilization. Now, we have a moment here with the Pursuer and Captain Glory, and Captain Glory figured this out pretty quickly, that this isn't a Kree, it's actually a Skrull. And it's not just any Skrull spy or anything like that. This is actually Emperor Hulking's grandmother, Empress of the Skrulls, survivor of Galactus. And it seems like her goal here is to have her grandson be the absolute ruler of this galaxy. And even she thinks that he's too heroic. He cares too much about the humans, and that's something that they really want to change, because they don't really give a crap about the humans. They want to kill the Katati, and that is the whole goal here. And that will be the end of this issue. Be sure to let me know what you guys think in the comments. I am really enjoying this. This was a lot more packed full of a little bit of information than the previous comics. I don't feel like it was a filler in any way of the sense. We're really getting an understanding. All our Avengers are spread out over all of Earth, trying to defend multiple attacks on multiple fronts. And you can only imagine that that's going to lead to a predicament where one or more of our Avengers are going to be in some dicey situations. So it's going to be really interesting to see where that's going. So if you guys haven't yet, be sure to like and subscribe to the page, and until the next video.